It's been good. I think on the first, we were going home. We went out and it was late. So we're going home when the clock turned to second. I was like, wow, like joke. It's 2nd January.
Wow.
And today it's 7th. So it's running very fast. And I think it's running faster than 2018. Before we know it, it'll be another 20 years. So Michael was going through his calendar and realized that I think last year too, I made it to effective living and I was on the 8th. And it's 7th. We're like, okay, but it was another year. It will never come again. So these are some of the things that drive us to be a little bit more conscious of our day.
Is there something specific that you hope this year or you have resolved to achieve this year? I mean, personally, as an individual.
As an individual, I just always like to be better. That's it. And I think I've become calmer over the years. I seem to have a thing with, I tend to be very irritable when people are mediocre. So for a long time, it irritated me, and I've gone to the point where it doesn't irritate me anymore.
But I still,
immune. Well, not immune. I just found strategies to still get my work done without being irritated.
Okay.
So those are some of the things I would share today, so that people are calmer and more. Basically, I've decided I'll live in a beautiful state all the time.
Okay.
So I'm not going to allow anybody's non-beautiful state to affect mine. So I'm in that space where I'm enjoying beautiful moments every day.
Go
so
ahead.
Basically, that's it.
Your comments are welcome, 05499869996. If you have specific questions for Letitia, please, you know what to do. Send us your comments, 05499869996. You can tweet at me at Richard Delaska. I do same for City FM at City973. The hashtag is CityCBS. We're checking off. So, Letitia, before we proceed, can you give us a working definition of what is success? Because, for people to really follow what we're discussing this morning, they must have in their minds what exactly success is all about. So you have to position yourself for success every day. That's what we're working with this morning. But what is success really?
For what I do, I always say that you must define success for yourself.
Okay.
My level of success is not yours. You remember the question you asked me, what do I hope to achieve? For me, it's not for you. You also have what you have to achieve. And that's your success. That's my success. So you need to define it. What does that look like to you? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? So by the time you're done with a year, what would success look like to you, not me? So your level of success is completely different from mine. And I think that's part of the challenge we're having. So I see Sky in a car and I also want the car. Your success is completely different from mine. I may want another car and I've decided that I'll get it in 5 years, and that's okay because there's something else that is taking my attention this year. So I mustn't compete with you. I must work with a framework that there is more than enough for everybody. So mine will come when I'm ready. Okay. That's my level of success. So you need to define success for yourself. And for me, success is not just about money. It's about every single bit of you. So you have a mind, you have a spirit, you have a soul, you have a body. What does success mean for you in all parts? You play different roles in your life. What does it mean to be successful in every single part that you play? So I would have a definition of success for what I will do with my children for this year.
Okay.
I will define success with my staff for the year. I will define it with my husband for the year. So I need to be in that state where I recognize that I may be one person, but I have different parts.
Okay.
And in those different parts, I must succeed.
Okay.
And what does that success look like to me?
Okay, so there's a subjective view to it, as opposed to having an objective, view as to, this is the standard.
There's no standard.
Okay.
I don't think there's any standard for success. Okay. For me, the only standard for success I would perhaps would be to say that character, build good character, so that we can all live in a place of harmony.
Okay.
But otherwise, success is yours, and you need to decide that it is yours, and I will define it as such.
Okay. So how do you position yourself for success every day? And Charlie, that's a very powerful thing. So let's learn.
For things we do, for those of you who don't know, Leaderfig basically inspires people to achieve their greatness. And we're talking about success. So we help you to define your success and to carve a blueprint to achieving it. And our target is the young people. We love them to bits. So we teach them all sorts of things, and we practice these things that we teach them. But sometime last year, I seemed to have worked myself into some level of, I was just tired. I think I was just exhausted. So I'd wake up in the morning. Typically at 3, I'm up. My body just wakes up. And I'll lay there and I would fight with myself. I'm like, I want to sleep. I want to sleep another 5 minutes. After a while, I was like, I'm wasting too much time and I'm not being as productive as I usually am. So I need to do something about this. I need to rescue myself with everything I know. So I started actively practicing things like the 5-second rule, which basically says launch yourself out of bed. Because I'm awake anyway. Why am I lying there? What am I doing? So launch yourself. You try it. Then I'll add the 1 minute principle, which means you're awake. Now, so that you don't go back to bed, walk away from your bed and go closer to what it is that you want to achieve. So I'll do all that. And I still realized that I still had that lethargic feeling around. I couldn't just shake it off. So I said, okay, I need to do something. What else could I do? So I started realizing that basically for me, wherever I go, I need to be, like I said, in a beautiful state. I need to be able to produce more. So then I realized that it is my thinking. It's all in my thinking and the way I feel. So how do I begin to energize myself even before I get out of bed? So not only am I going to count 5, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, but I'm now going to tell myself that I am awake. I'm grateful to be awake. I'm excited about this day. There's some energy that you give to yourself when you do these things. So I decided I will put it to test, and I'll test it through the rest of the year. So I tested it more than half the year, consistently, and it was amazing. I tend to be very lazy to go and exercise because the whole thing of wearing the whole suit thing was a problem for me. But now it's no longer. I look forward to it, and I do it easily because I've put it into test. I've tested it, and I've lived it. Okay. So now these are things that I think I've summarized it all in 5 parts, 5 priorities. Okay,
you'll be going into that in just. But what you are saying is that normally when you're about changing something, you would always have internal resistance of some kind.
You always will, because see, our mind has been structured or wired such that it needs you to be in your comfortable zone. So, for example, I come on air and I bar. Then, for me, for the rest of my life, I tell myself, I'll never do this again. So then I start fighting myself. My brain automatically says, okay, I get you. I'll never let you go through this again. So whenever I'm called to come and speak, then my brain starts telling me, remember, you don't like this. You don't want to do this. So my brain fights me. And then it changes. So I will find all sorts of excuses not to be here. That's what our brain is wired to do. It's not wired to help us. It's wired to protect us. Okay. So once you can get that, it makes your life very simple. So then I know that I have to fight what's happening in my brain. Okay. It's not me. I'm not fighting me. I just need to play another trick on my brain to rewire it. Okay. So it's called, I think when Patrick was here, it's called conditioning. So you always need to condition yourself for success. Okay. And it cannot be assumed. It's a conscious thing. And it happens every day. Every day. Okay. So every day you must determine to be successful. And then you must determine what must I do to achieve that. Okay. As opposed to questions like, why me? Why? How? It's really, what must I do? So they're powerful questions that you can ask yourself to put you in that zone. Okay.
Let's go into the components of your submission.
Okay, so basically five. So me, I've broken it down into five key practices. And the reason I've done 5 key practices is because I feel that the laws of the universe that are always working in or away from against us, they're in operation anyway. Those who studied physics will know the law of gravity works whether you're conscious of it or not. Exactly. So I would rather be conscious of it. Basically, that's all I'm saying. Okay. And it's not as much work as it sounds. People think it's so much work. All you need sometimes is just a minute. Okay. And you do that throughout the day to ensure that you make sure the laws are aligned with your own energy. Okay. Basically, that's all it is. Okay. So the 5 practices for me are rise and insist, which I picked from Bernard Avle's lecture.
Rise and insist. Okay.
Yeah. I'd been doing it. So when I was thinking, I was like, what do I name this? And I really like the rise and insist because you wake up and insist on achieving something in the day. So rise and insist, express gratitude. Gratitude does some amazing things. So we'll get to it. Prioritize you.
Prioritize you.
Yes.
Make you the center of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Then focus on units of work. So we talk about time management quite a bit. So, but you also must focus on the units of work that you're doing, because every unit of work that is started must be closed. So we'll get to that as well. And then indulge in a selfless act. Help somebody, mentor somebody, help direct somebody in the right place to go or something. Just give somebody a listening ear, and you can do all of this in a day.
Okay.
And you feel much better throughout the day.
Indulge in a selfless act.
Selfless
Help
act.
somebody.
Help somebody.
Okay.
That's it. Give back to society. It doesn't matter how small. Just do something for somebody that you don't expect to be paid back.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay.
So these are the 5 practices that we'll delve into later.
Okay.
But for me, I want to talk about why it matters. I've already talked about the laws of the universe.
That's right.
And the fact that they work whether we're conscious of it or not. How you start your day will determine how it ends. It doesn't matter what you, unless you're very conscious of it and midway you're like, oh, I'm aware of this, I'm doing this to myself, I must stop. So you take a break and you rewire yourself. If you can do that, fantastic. But otherwise, how you start your day is very likely to determine how it ends.
Okay.